Hello and welcome back. So in our last episode, we covered everything in this middle panel of the import window. However, there are a couple of things that pop up in this right-hand panel that appear only when you select Move Copy or Copy as DNG. So I wanted to cover those in this episode. So I'm going to, instead of being on Add, I'm going to click Copy, and again, we have this destination folders that shows up in the middle panel, but we have a couple other options that show up on the right hand side here. As well as, if you are on Add, you'll notice this is only going to my catalog. I can't click on this, I can't do anything. But when you're on any of these other options, you can click into this area here, and you're going to tell Lightroom where you would like your copies or your files to move to. So you just click it, and again, it's going to give you some suggestions, but you can pick other destinations, find your folder, and select Choose, and you should see the path up at the top. So that's the first thing that is specific to these three options. Next is going to be Make Second Copy To. So again, if I go to Add, that selection or that option is grayed out and I cannot select it. But if I go to any of these others, it pops up. So if you're already making one copy, that's fine. But if you want to make a second copy to another destination, you can check this. And if you hover over the path, you'll see it highlights. You just click that. And same thing, find the folder you want it to go to and click Choose. You can also do a drop down that shows your recent folders, but either way that works. If you don't want to import a second copy, simply uncheck that option. So the next thing that shows up is file renaming. So if you want your files just to have the name that they originally have, you don't have to do anything here. They will just be copied or moved over with that same name. However, if you do want to rename your files, you can do that. You would make sure to click Rename Files, and then what you can do is, I'm going to clear all this out. What you can do is go up here to Template, and you're probably not going to have any templates yet, so you would just go to Edit, and then I will run through how this works. So basically, you have different options you can pick from down here. You can go with the file name or file name number suffix, and you could say insert. If there's something up here you don't want, you simply click it and you delete. So you can choose any of these drop downs and just click insert. If you click on that drop down, so if you click to a different drop down, it will insert it automatically. So let's say we want to we're going to do shoot name, custom text, and an image number with 2 digits. So if we want to do that, what you're going to do is just go to Save Current Settings as New Preset. I'm going to do this as Kapture Test 2. Click Create, and then click Done. You'll see now that that pops up in that list over here. And this is for your custom text. So you remember we had our shoot name, then custom text, then start number. So custom text, let's just say Kapture Test, shoot name, we're gonna say Carrie, and start number. Oh, I didn't do a start number. Yes, I did. Image number. Okay. And one more thing I forgot to mention in this window, if you arrow through, you can add dividers, whether that be a space, a dash, an underscore, whatever you want it to be. I'm going to change this to 3 digits, and we're going to say done. So now you can see down at the bottom here, we have what a sample would look like, and you can choose the extension. Also, you can do lowercase, uppercase, or leave it as is. So that's for that raw at the end there. So if you would like to rename your files while you're copying or moving them, you certainly can. This is how you do it. So I'm going to uncheck that and minimize that. And then the last thing to go over for these options that show up with copy as DNG, copy or move is destination. I'm going to expand that. And what this is you are picking, so you have your destination up here and it's showing you that destination down here. But what this allows you to do is you can put it into a subfolder. So you can click this and then it will pop up and you can enter a name here for your subfolder. And then you can also organize it in different ways. So you can see down here, it's showing me my destination folder and what's going to happen there. If you want to make a new folder, you click the plus sign, say create new folder. This also allows you to view all your folders or your affected folders only. I'm going to switch to that so we can just see this one folder we're working with. So organize by original folders. So this is my original folder name and it's going to put them into basically a subfolder in my destination. I can also do by date, and I can choose the date format that I want, and you'll notice that it now has a subfolder with the year and then the months, and then how many images are going to go into each. And this ties into that destination folders in the middle panel. So if I click on that now, you can see I have 27 images total, and I have 9 going into this folder, 9 going into this folder, and 9 going into this folder. And it's just showing me the same thing over here. And I can expand these and I can see exactly what images are going into what folder. The other option here is into one folder. So your destination folder is going to look the same as your original folder because we're not organizing it in any specific way. So that is this destination panel. It's just allowing you to add a subfolder if you want, create a new folder. It's a way to do, instead of clicking on two up here, you can do it down here. But then also a way to organize them once you've moved or copied them. So that is it for all of these extra options that appear when you select Move Copy or Copy as DNG. In our next episode, we're going to go back to Add, and we're going to cover these two options. We're going to cover file handling and apply during import. So thank you so much for your attention, and hope to see you in our next episode.